What is up, guys? Another day, another dollar. Cloudy day, mucky day. I just did my fasted cardio week 4, but technically week 3, because week 3 I got sick and did a bunch of shit for a holiday. So I mean, technically week 3, but honestly probably week 2, because the fucking around on week 3 probably canceled out week 2. So I don't know anymore. But it's week 4 and doing more cardio. Dialed the diet down a little more. Still grinding the showcase. I'm excited for when that comes out. But today's video topic, I feel discouraged by how terrible the world is. I see all these articles nowadays, and it occurred to me that a lot of people are miserable. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's miserableness on a multiple front. You know, like, 1, not happy with their life or lost. 2, probably like relationship issues. Right? And then they get home from their work or their job or wherever they don't like during the day and they hate it. And they go on their phone and they doom scroll and all they see is terrible, terrible news. I'm a victim of it too, you know? It's like blind leading the blind at this point. But on top of that, people are struggling with different addictions, whether it be porn addiction, maybe other types of addictions, and you know, they feel bad. You jack off every time and you just, like, after you're done, you just feel shit about yourself because you can't control your lust. And then basically you feel very hopeless. It's an overall feeling of hopelessness, right? You may understand what I'm talking about. Some of you guys don't, you know? And a lot of people with this hopelessness on different things, they will never let go of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in the video comments, there's probably be comments on this video where people can't let go of it. They're always just downers, saying some downing ass shit. Like, I think it was yesterday with the relationship one. There was one guy who was like, it's over, I'm short and I'm ethnic and I'm ugly. My life is cooked. I'll never be shit. Like, I'm so worthless. Like, yeah, if you succumb to despair, the moment you succumb to your own personal weakness and despair, it's over for you. You know, there's going to be people in the comments doing it. It's over, but I'm short and ethnic. Oh, it's over. You're cooked. As soon as you succumb to despair, it is over. And I think that's, like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but if I was and there was an overarching presence, that would be the goal, is to get everyone so depressed that they just cave in on their own downing thoughts. You know what I'm saying? They just cave in. And so every person that caves in, you know, and just succumbs to all these negative thoughts and emotions about how the world is so fucked and how they're never going to be shit, that's one W for the people that want to see us all fail. You know, the people that want to see the world burn. Every person that succumbs to despair, that's a W for them, you know? So every person that's given up, every incel, you know, those are all W's. Every person that wants to resort to violence, you know, because they feel like it's over, the bad guys are winning, guys. You know what I'm saying? And it's overwhelming sometimes, you know, and I understand. Like, I actually saw a thing this morning about this whole thing about how, like, apparently, and this is the shit I see all day. I don't know if it's true or not, but just to give an example of the shit that I see, is how Americans are, apparently Putin said he has evidence that Americans are feeding other Americans to each other. And they have this whole voice thing where, like, you know, kids are being kidnapped and turned into burger meat that is served at McDonald's, and we're all just eating each other, you know. And they had some good evidence. There was like a voice clip, and this is the shit I see all day. And then there's the other one, which kind of got me feeling weird last week with, like, I don't want to sound Islamophobic, okay, but I'm just going to tell you my thoughts on this. I don't know if you guys have seen Canada, but they did interviews around Canada where, you know, they have an influx of Islamic people, Muslims, and apparently the goal, they did an interview on the street, and the goal for these Muslims is to essentially outbreed the Canadians and then indict Sharia law. Which, if you don't know what Sharia law is, look it up. It's pretty much worst case scenario if you have a mom, a sister, a daughter, a wife. It's pretty much living in the Middle East, but here. And basically the plan is over the next 50 years to outbreed all the white people, which is in fact working. White people don't have kids, right? That's the thing. All of us, or I'm half white, so whatever. I'm 50% white. I'm just going to group myself in with you guys. All right. And this doesn't just apply to white people. It applies to black people. It it applies to Hispanic people, but it applies to Americans, and they were born in the United States, whatever race you may be, right? If you were born in the United States and your culture doesn't call for having a bunch of kids, pretty much all of us are scared of having kids, right? Having a kid young is like one of the worst case scenarios in most of our heads, you know, because like we have the idea that if you have a kid before your life is like set, you're cooked. So abortion rates are high. Having kids is the worst fear for all of us. And due to that, on top of the fact that half of men hate women and half the women hate men, you know, relationships have issues. So that for there even to be a relationship in the first place is already getting lower. And then no one wants to have kids. So basically, it's working. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Middle Easterns, but they be having a fuck ton of kids. So then 50, 100 years down the line, when Americans and Canadian citizens are all scared of having kids, we don't have kids, eventually they will get outpopulated and then outvoted. So like in the voting polls, I don't know how long it would be, but it's a long-term plan. They would get outvoted eventually. And so we all kind of have to come to terms with the fact that all our great-grandchildren will be named Muhammad. And, you know, I'm not racist. I mean, if that's how it is, that's how it is. I can't really do much about that. But it does make sense that over the next 100 years, 200 years, they're just going to outbreed everything. Because all of us, and I'm a Christian, you know, and I don't like to talk about it because you know, people, if I say that, people are going to look at me and be like, how can you call yourself a Christian? You do this, this, and that. Hey, I'm trying my best, man. But eventually, they said even Christianity will be outbred by Muslims. And that's solely from the fact that people aren't having kids. And, you know, even the Bible calls for it. They say, be fruitful and multiply. But that's the one thing that we seem to have failed on, because having kids is such a fear. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I heard about that, and I was like, man, that's crazy. Like, it makes sense, though. And look, I fuck with Muslim people, bro. One of my homies, him and his whole family are Muslim. You know what I'm saying? And hey, bro, he's chill as fuck. You know, we're working on his cutting plan right now, actually. He's looking good. He's looking great. But Sharia law, I don't know about that, bro. Regardless, then you hear about a bunch of mass shootings and stuff. And all this bad news, or good news for some people, I don't know, fuck. But all this news, it gets you really down, you know what I'm saying? And you feel nothing but depressed all the time. And so you eat like shit, and then you get fat, and then you're like, damn, and I'm fat as fuck? Like, god damn it. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, you see how this is and you know, the economy's bad, so you're always broke. You know what I'm saying? You can't figure out how to make more money, right? And so there's this cycle for most people of just sadness. You know what I'm saying? Like, every day sucks. And so the topic of this video is what to do when you feel crushed by the world. You feel like you can't do anything, you know what I'm saying? And you just feel so depressed, and you just can't fucking go on. A lot of people feel that way. Just know that you're not alone, especially nowadays. And it comes out of people in different ways. Some it's sadness, others it's anger. So you see a lot more angry people that just like are always on the edge of just exploding. You know, some people like fall into all these bad habits like drinking, you know, and I'm not talking just drink, like I'm talking like real alcoholism, which is like very sad. I watched a movie about it last night where like it's dark, bro. If you see like real alcoholism, it is like horrible to look at. And all these bad things are happening. How do you sort of like navigate that? And people have different ways, you know what I'm saying? And that's why religion is you know, very popular to making a resurgence, because it gives that comfort. But the question is, what do you do on your personal day-to-day life? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do when you feel like nothing's going on? It's like, how do I get out of this situation? And I was depressed for a very long time. May not seem like it, but I was. And, you know, I let it crush me for a while. You know what I mean? I couldn't do anything. Couldn't get out of bed. Couldn't work out. You know, fell into my coping mechanism was sleeping all day, sleeping as much as I could, and playing video games and just getting nowhere in life. You know what I'm saying? Doing a bunch of shit. I was constantly miserable. There's an old Boondocks quote that says, I fucked with this. It was like, what? It was like, Granddad, what do you do when there's nothing you can do? And he's like, you do what you can. You know, something like that. There's an old Boondocks quote. basically, you just have to, what I like to call guts it, right? I call it guts it. As cringy as that is, and it's how Berserk is so popular to the point where it's like, I don't even like talking about it, even though I love Berserk, but it's so popular that it's kind of cringe now. You pretty much, I don't know if this is the answer you're looking for, but this is what I do. You pretty much just struggle and claw tooth and nail every single day doing your best, even though you feel horrible. That's always been my method. As long as you're like putting up some resistance and you're not just succumbing to your deepest despair and sadness. I call it like gutsing it because like he's known as the struggler. So cringe. I hate that I'm referencing this, but I do love guts. He's known as the struggler. Pretty much everything goes fucking ass for him all the time. Everything goes shit. Way more shit than anything going on in your life, I promise. Well, maybe not. I don't know who's watching this. Maybe there's like a prisoner being tortured watching this right now. But he's the fucking Skull Knight pretty much just tells him like struggle. Just struggle. I mean, like all you got, like just tooth and nail, just fucking every single day. You're constantly exhausted. You know, you feel like shit all the time, but you're just struggling against your despair every single day. And it's a fight every day that will never end until you die. And as depressing as that sounds, there is some comfort in that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you can't control a lot of things. Most of the things in this world you can't control. You know what I'm saying? You can't control, you can't control the horrible events. You can't control if we're about to go in World War III. You can't control what girls think of you. You can't you know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of can, actually. You can kind of control that. But most things you can't control. The only things you can really control is your attitude and your effort. And if you lose those, then you're kind of cooked. And your character, like being kind and, not doing bad things and trying to make the world a better place, You can't lose those three. But you pretty much can't control anything else. So you just do your best every day to be better. You know what I'm saying? As shit as you feel, as fucking depressed and miserable as you feel, you know what I'm saying? As much as you want to lash out and do all these fuck things, you just don't do it. And you struggle every day. And it's a struggle every day with no finish line. And then you make that your norm. If you're that depressed and despair. And if you're happy, bro, then good shit, bro. You're happy. But if you ever come to those times, you got to fight it, And when I say by struggle is like, make the best out of your situation. Work as hard as you can. Maybe you don't want to be fat anymore, right? The gym is always a great example because it's easy and it's straightforward. You feel horrible. You don't want to diet. You don't want to go to the gym. It's really life. Really, everything you want is on the other side of self-discipline. You know what I'm saying? Nothing worth having comes easy. As much as you want it to, it'd be like, oh, I just want something easy. Like, nothing worth having comes easy. And if it came easy, there's probably a catch. So every day, the moment you wake up, and don't even look down long term. I found it helps me a lot to try and just look to the end of the day and just get through things one day at a time. You know what I'm saying? If it's like, and I wrote down this thing, I was like, what would I have to accomplish today for me to feel satisfied when I go to sleep? Right? And I'll give you an example. For me, it's go to the gym and hit all my meals, make a video, read my Bible. I'm trying to get through it cover to cover. My dad did it, but I'm trying to get through it cover to cover. What was the other ones? Yeah, go to the gym. Oh, work on tear out, work on my shit, and work on my little side things that I'm working on. I can't tell anyone about, but work on these things. And once I have done all those, and to me, that will be a not perfect day, but like I did everything I could that day. Like there's nothing more I could have done. Like I did everything I could have done, and I can go to sleep satisfied. And that gives me comfort. You know what I'm saying? So if you're struggling, like write down a list of things. It's like, what would I accomplish today that I would feel good about going to sleep? For when I was in school, it was like get my work done. Same things, but like get my work done, get my schoolwork done as well. I could feel like every time I didn't do my schoolwork, I felt this guilt hanging over my head. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stress comes from guilt. Things that you like know you have to do, but you just don't do them. Like responding to people on time. You have that email that you gotta fucking respond to, or that thing that's hanging over your head. Shit hanging over your head sucks, So like I've always been write down all the shit for the day that like, yeah, I mean I've said it like 10 times, but I'm just gonna say it one more time. Everything during the day where I would feel good going to sleep knowing that I did the best I could that day. And with enough of those days, you know what I'm saying, and it's hard, bro. Sometimes I'm like, oh fuck, like I don't want to do any of this shit. Like I wake up at really early, do my cardio, eat my meals, which is, hey bro, I got an easy life compared to what it used to be, man. Fucking working landscaping and fucking working at the restaurant really fucked up my shit. But you know, I got it done there too. I'd bring my meals to work, you know. Now it's like work on the tear out, you know, and it's easy. I don't want to do a lot of the shit most of the time. Oh, and then it's like, you know, it used to be when I was quitting porn, it was like, don't jack off. You know, I'd feel good if I just didn't jack off today. Throw that on the list. Now I don't watch porn at all, I mean, obviously, but yeah, so that's all you can do, bro. I mean, I don't know if you guys were looking for some magical ass answer, but no, it's pretty straightforward. Things are simple, you know. And yeah, so that's it for today's video. For some of you guys struggling with the weight of the world, you kind of just gotta big dig it and just fucking drill your way through and be the best person you can. I was like, I put be nice to people today, you know, put that on your list. Be kind, you know what I'm saying? Maybe give a homeless guy some money, I don't know, something. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Code Horsemeet on Civil Regime and Iron CRUE, and code M33T on the Horsemeet.shop. And we've been selling a lot of them. We're almost out. Once that finishes up, then we can drop the new stuff. And we're never dropping this stuff on the site again. So the stuff you get now, that is pretty much, that's gonna be collectible one day, maybe. If I make it huge and tear out, right, you're gonna be able to sell it. So just bank on the tear out being good. All right, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.